people, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal and this is Blonde Book Reviews, and today we're going to be jumping into another KU reading vlog. And for this one, we're going to be going down a different path than I usually do. So instead of reading a smutty romance, we're going to be reading a KU horror. So everyone has told me that I will really like Darcy Coates, and this happened to be an arc that was lying around the office, and I know that this is available on KU. So I'm going to be reading From Below by Darcy Coates. And to kind of summarize this to you, I will read you the back because I think it does a really good job. No light, no air, no escape. Hundreds of feet below the ocean surface, a graveyard waits. And then it goes on to say that there's a group of people that have to search underwater into a ship that vanished many years ago, and it hasn't finished taking its life, like its number of lives. So I'm expecting this to be really fucked up, really scary. I do also have the audio of this as well. So I am just about to climb into bed. So I will start reading this, and I just wanted this little intro to tell you a bit about it. And I'll take you along for the ride. Now, obviously, as usual, I will be doing a lot of my reading either in the middle of the night or while I'm driving, but I will try and give you updates as I can throughout the experience of this book, because I don't know how much of it I'm going to be able to read during the night. So wish me luck. Let me know down below if you've read any Darcy Coates books before, and if you suggest any of their other horrors for me, because if I like this one, I'm going to want some more direction. So let's dive on in. So update on From Below. I'm now about 9 chapters in, and it is spooky. Like, I am getting some real messed up vibes from one of the characters. I think her name is Varna. She kind of was like brought into the dive separately, so no one really knows her that well. And there was this one scene where they're down, like they've gone for their first dive, and someone who's left on deck finds a diary of hers that is pretty much talking about how she's going to watch them all drown. And then while they're down below, one of the other divers is like talking to her, and she's just like floating there like a ghost. This writing is phenomenal, and I'm so excited to see what else happens. I just dropped off at daycare, and I don't start work for another 40 minutes. So I'm going to go inside now and do some more reading because I need to know more. And I couldn't read any last night because it's so spooky to read at nighttime. Even though I'm not like somewhere where what's happening could be happening, because I'm not underwater, it's making my house seem scary. So Darcy Coates, love it so far. So yeah, I'm about 9 chapters in. They've just started their first dive, and if it continues on this track, I'm definitely going to give this book 5 stars. So I just reached chapter 18 of From Below by Darcy Coates, and they have just like resurfaced from the first dive. And we keep kind of going back and forth between the people that are diving in current day and the people that were on the ship before it sunk. And it's like counting down like 7 days before it sunk, 6 days before it sunk, kind of thing. I'm still really spooked out. I'm still really spooked, and I am still really enjoying the writing of this. It's very immersive. I still don't trust one of the divers. I keep forgetting her name. I think it's Varna, V-A-N-A, Varna. I do not trust her still, but I feel like the book is actively making her someone you don't trust because someone else is going to blindside you. There is also another diver who keeps lying about his skill, and I think he's going to get them in a lot of trouble. He's either going to do something dangerous, like get spooked and knock someone else's oxygen mask off, or run out of oxygen and try and steal someone else's oxygen. Like, I do not trust that he's not going to fuck shit up because of his lack of skill. But Varna is the one who's giving me like spooky vibes at this point. So yes, the afternoon of the first dive, which was spooky, but I know it's only going to get worse from here. So that's my update. Still working towards a 5-star read. Still really enjoying it. Anthony's just taking the baby for a walk, so I'm doing chores while I listen. So I'll give you an update when I get further along. Oh my god, this is so fucking creepy. So they're on the second dive, and the guy that I was talking to you about, the guy that's like inexperienced and like I reckon is going to get them in trouble. Well, he knocked something off, and so a huge silt thing happened, so they couldn't really see what was going on. And then the dive line, which is meant to take them back up to the surface, is now loose, so it's either been cut or fell off from where it was attached. And they've kind of been like separated, and they're waiting for Varna to find them. And he's like, oh, Vanna, you're finally here. And they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, someone's holding my foot. And she says, it's not me. I'm still on the upper level. And that's like the end of the chapter. Who's holding his foot? Oh my God, it's so fucking creepy. I love this book, but oh, so spooky. I don't know how well you guys can see me now because I'm literally sitting in my car. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to drive down to Sydney. And all I have is my overhead light on because otherwise it would be pitch dark. But it's kind of fitting for the book that I'm reading, I guess. I read a little bit more last night before I went to bed. So I just wanted to give you an update before I started driving because then obviously I'll listen to more. And I want to give like a prediction, which is probably going to be totally wrong, but I'm going to give it anyways. So at the moment we have Cove, Vanna, Adrian, Hesty diving. And then we have another guy up in the ship who's not diving. And he has no idea because communication between the ship and the divers is cut and has been for the whole time because of some weird thing that also made the cameras not work except for the head cameras. So my prediction is that Vanna, who is the obvious suspect, is not actually to blame and that someone else is. I'm weirdly thinking that, oh, there's a 5th diver. Gus? No, that's the guy I'm trying to blame. I can't even think of his name, but he is like a friend of Adrian's and he notices that Adrian is freaking out all the time and keeps like trying to calm him down. And he was the one that was with Adrian when someone grabbed Adrian's foot. Apparently it was a rope, but I don't know about that. So yeah, I'm thinking he's got something to do with all this. Obviously, I know that there is obviously something fucked up in this ship. Like there has been bodies found crammed between like holes. There has been bodies like appearing left, right and center. And the way that Darcy has the ability to describe these ghost scenes has me like creeped out. Like I keep feeling like something's going to pop up like right here as I'm talking and I'm not even underwater. So yeah, it is freezing today. So it'll be the perfect dark, cold, wet, as you can see, it's quite misty, drive down to Sydney to potentially finish this book off. I have about 4.5 hours left of the audiobook and it is a 2-hour drive one way and a 2-hour drive home. Hence the tiredness. So this book's going to be keeping me wide awake, hopefully, and I will keep you posted when I get to the office on my thoughts on the next 2-hour chunk. Okay, so I just got to the work car park and a lot happened in those 2 hours. I wish that I could have had like a camera set up for you to see my live reactions, but there was a lot of no, fuck, going on. So no one is to blame. It is 100% a ghost ship. People are coming alive left, right and center and grabbing them from the walls. And it's like, oh, I am claustrophobic. So this is like my worst nightmare. They are like stuck in little places and their lights are running out because they're like the dead things they're afraid of light, so they don't come near you when your light is on, but the lights are slowly starting to diminish, so they're going to be in darkness and not able to find their way out, not able to stop the things from coming near them. I don't know if any of you guys play board games, but there's a board game called Subterra, which is all about getting out of a cave before your lights run out, and there's like haunts and scary things that try and get you. This is like the book version of that, and it is intense, and I don't know who's going to make it out, and like it's jumping between like various perspectives, and then now the people up on the above ship have managed to create contact with the lower people, and oh my god, I'm trying not to give too much away, but like I need to talk it out because holy shit, this book, why don't I read horror more often? Like it is intense. Like it is more page turning than any thriller that I have ever read in my life. Yeah, I just, so still 100% leaning towards a 5-star for this book. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to end. I now have to go to work. I have about an hour and a half left of the audiobook. Oh my god. I need to know what happens. So I'm I don't have too many meetings today, so I could listen to the audiobook as I work today, and in my lunch break. I get an hour for lunch, so I'm hoping I can finish it before the drive home because I need to know what happens. If you've read this book or anything by Darcy Coates, like, drop a comment down below because I need to know some of your other suggestions of what you think I should read horror-wise or Darcy Coates-wise, because I almost feel like the KU horror is gonna overtake my love of KU romances, and that is saying something because holy fuck, this book is intense. Like, my heart is still beating. I was driving in peak hour Sydney traffic, almost wanting to like close my eyes because I was that afraid for the people in the book. Like, I have chills, and it's not because it's cold. Anyways, that's my update for you. I'll tell you when I have more. Okay, so it's much later, and I finished this book today. I finished this book today while I was at work during my lunch break, but I had to rush back to work, so I couldn't give you an update right then because I couldn't find a quiet place in the office. But the last, probably like, I think I left you when I was probably like around 300 pages, maybe 350 pages in. So the last little bit was equally scary, don't get me wrong, but something happened that dropped it from a 5-star to a 4-star read. Like, I still really enjoyed it, but if you ever seen a horror movie and the main character does something and you're just like, you are a fucking idiot, you deserve everything that comes your way. Well, that's what happened in the end of this book. So one of our characters, Aiden, he is down in the hull and he gets consumed by a whole bunch of the undead, or whatever you want to call them, that are down in the ship. And when this happens, his engagement ring that he wants to give to his future fiance that was in a necklace around his neck gets pulled off. So they've literally spent half the book fighting for their life to get back to the surface, and he's lost this engagement ring. So he reviews the footage, finds where it is, and then sneakily decides to dive back down there to try and retrieve it. And of course, everyone else on the dive then decides to go down after him to try and save him because they know what's down there. And so even though they all unanimously decided that they were not going to ever return to the ship, they obviously have to go back down there for one final epic battle. And then right at the end, where they think they're not going to make it out, something conveniently saves them, is probably all I'm going to say. And I think the fact, like, I was sitting in the office at work just being like, shaking my head and being like, fuck, actually, I think I actually said you fucking idiot out loud in the lunchroom. And obviously I'm surrounded by book readers, so they knew that it was not weird considering I was reading a book. But they were like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, this idiot, da 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 da. And like tried to explain it, and they understood my frustration. So hopefully you guys do too. But all in all, I'm giving it 4 stars. I will definitely read more from Darcy Coates, and it, like, that was the one negative I have about this book. So it's probably close to 4.5 stars. But the one negative I had was that the main character did something that was so ultimately stupid. Like, who the fuck puts their life back at risk for an engagement ring? Like, you can buy another piece of jewelry. I get the fact that it was like handed down from generation to generation from his girlfriend's family and blah, blah, blah. But I'm pretty sure she would rather you alive than this ring. But anyways, so I highly recommend this. I definitely think if you have KU and you have access to this book, you should definitely pick it up. So that is my suggestion to you. I loved reading a horror for this KU reading vlog. I think next up I'm going to try a fantasy or a thriller. If you have any recommendations or anything you want me to review that is on KU, make sure you drop it in the comments down below. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend and happy reading. Bye.